the tip of their tail to the top of their head, no other owl can beat them in length. You want some food? I'll treat you. There you go. Now, one thing you do notice about it is this massive facial disc. Now, this facial disc is very important because they rely on their hearing in order to hunt. Now, there are over 200 different species of owl on this planet, and each one is shaped and sized differently and coloured as well. And it's to blend in with their natural habitat. Now, because Wrinkles is from the colder climates, it's going to snow quite a bit. And all her food's going to be running underneath the snow. Now, these guys like to eat very small mammals and rodents, so things like lemmings, mice, voles. And they're the ones that run underneath. And they still need to eat. They can't just go weeks and weeks, if not months, without getting any food. So what they do is they perch along a tree line, very similar to that one over there, and they sit very still and very silent.
And you'll find steppe eagles in the wild all the way from eastern Austria, right around across Asia as far as Japan. They're also a migratory bird, and you'll find them on migration both in eastern and southern Africa and the Indian subcontinent too. And you know, I always used to say at this juncture that this is one of the most numerous species of eagles in the world. And unfortunately, are you coming? And unfortunately, I can't say that anymore. What we're now looking at is a species in trouble. I'm not sure if you've noticed, as you wander around the centre, you see on all of the signs on the bird's aviaries, there's a little graphic that gives that particular species conservation status. And they basically go from being least concern, and then it goes up through being near threatened, vulnerable, endangered, critically endangered, and then the big one, which is extinct. This species has gone from being of least concern, it has leapfrogged being vulnerable and near threatened, and this is now a full-on endangered species. And there's a load of things about steppe eagles that are quite concerning. There's going to have to be some ducking now, folks. I know. One of the issues is, this is not an easy species to study in the stronghold of its range. And some of the strongholds of steppe eagles are the Central Asian republics. Not the most politically stable places in the world. And not the sort of place that there's many scientists happy to spend their days walking around with a clipboard and a pair of binoculars counting steppe eagles. So it's hard to find out much about them. However, the most concerning thing is there is now mounting evidence that they're being affected by the same thing that caused the Asian vulture crisis. They used to, of the pre-1991 levels of vultures, we have lost 99.9% of them. For every 1,000 vultures there was in 1991, there's one left now. And it turns out they've all been killed by exactly the same thing. They've all been accidentally poisoned with a veterinary drug called diclofenac. A drug that I suspect some, maybe all of you, are familiar with, because in this country, humans take it, you buy it for boots, you call it Voltarol. You take it for aches and pains. It just so happens that Voltarol is kryptonite to a vulture. They've fed vultures anthrax before now, because that's the sort of daft thing that scientists fill their days doing. If you do feed a vulture anthrax, it will just go fat and happy on that anthrax. If it eats diclofenac, it will get gout, kidney failure, and be dead within 36 hours. This is a largely scavenging species of eagle. In many ways, they're kind of an eagle-shaped vulture, and the first dead steppe eagles poisoned by diclofenac have already been found. Here at the centre, we've tried to play, well, I like to think we've played a fairly significant part in the... You will not find a snowy owl in Essex, promise you. Some people do mistake barn owls for snowy owls. Barn owls weigh about 400 grams, snowy owls 2 kilos. But barn owls do look a lot bigger when they're in the air because they're white and they almost glow in the dark. Now I fly her different to Wrinkles, because snowy owls, you remember that theory I was telling you about not being that powerful and not being that fast? Forget that with snowy owls. They've kind of gone, no, screw that theory, I'm not having any of that, I'm being fast, I'm being powerful, I'm being like an eagle. That's exactly what she is, she's like an eagle. These guys, because they live in such harsh environments, they've had to adapt. Good girl, keep going, keep going, keep going. Well done. They've had to adapt. Now you're just showing off. Right. You're a legend, you know that.
Crap over you then.
They've had to adapt to survive in such harsh environments. So these guys, they don't have silent flight. They've adapted to have one of the most powerful wing beats of any owl in the world. They have feet bigger than some eagles. They can stay in the air for long periods of time, as you can see by the flying machine. 15 to 20 kilometers back, and he still wasn't finding any lemmings, nothing that he could eat. I think he found like 2 lemmings in the space of 2 days. That's not enough to support five very young owlets. You need lots and lots of food. And he kept on going further out and further out to the point where the female didn't know where the male was. And they don't know. I mean, there's lots of things out there that could take out a snowy owl. So she wasn't really sure that the male was coming back. So what happened in the end was the female actually went out and started to look for food herself. The issue with this is that she was leaving the nest unprotected. And when she left the nest unprotected, something came and ate 2 owlets, which was very, very sad. And then when the female got back without any food, one of the other owlets died. Now when that owlet died, being a mum, she wanted the other 2 to survive very desperately. So she fed the dead owlet to the other 2. And that's what owls do. When food becomes so scarce in such a harsh environment, it is absolutely imperative that the alive ones stay alive. So they feed the younger ones to them. But that still wasn't...
Laura, he is one of... Don't you swear at me, sunshine. And he's one of the babies on the flying team. Oh, we've got battery problems, I think. He's one of the babies of the flying team. He was born in July last year. Was it July? Wait, I'm going to have to go without the microphone. You have to listen to me bellowing at you. Now, he is fully grown. He was fully grown, believe it or not, when he was just 8 weeks old. He came out of an egg, of a chicken's egg, and these guys... Get your arm off quick. It's like flying a boomerang. The reason why they have this fantastic growth is, first of all, is this an adaptation, because basically when parent birds in the wild are looking after youngsters, they need to get them out of the nest and earning their own living as soon as they possibly can. So it's a little bit similar for those of you who are parents will probably be familiar with that. That wish, that desire, I suppose. However, they also have a diet that is entirely made up of raw meat, which is the most protein-rich food available in the animal kingdom. And so these guys, they've got the tools to sustain that fantastic... Now the Harris Hawk is a newcomer to the Falconry team.